Why, hello there everyone. I'm the Kumo Sensei, and welcome back to another live stream. And I'm officially back to where I can actually stream a little bit again. Thank goodness, right? And really, I've been busy the past week or so I apologize if things have been kind of hectic, but let's just say that growing up is not so easy, but that's to be expected because life, work, things of that nature, it kind of gets in the way. But I do have time today since I'm off to actually live stream before I go do some stuff such as feeding my tarantulas and trying to update my customers as well that I'm shutting down my business. Hello there, Hop. Hope you're doing well, and I hope everybody's doing well. As for me, I've just been busy, and I'm also trying to find a new job as well. One that pays better so I can actually save money and hopefully move out. So it's been a journey, I would say, but it's one step at a time. And honestly, I feel pretty good, honestly. My credit score is really good, so getting a house or getting a mortgage is going to be possible, I guess, if you know anything about growing up, that is, for those people. But a lot of you may not, because a lot of you are young. But let's just say that I'm in a good spot, sort of. I just need a better paying job. That's really all I need as of now. So really, I've been trying to work harder, so that way, one, I can actually fix up my car a little bit, two, save up money and move out, and three, pursue my business of voice acting, as well as trying to shut down my current business behind me, which I already discussed in the past live stream. And that's really, long story short, in terms of what I'm currently doing. Work has been kind of hectic, but then again though, like, there's nothing much to talk about there because I'm very straightforward and very honest about myself here. So I just want everybody to be, relax a little bit, right? And a lot of people are still asking, like, what is my workout routine? And I will talk a little bit more about it on a vlog, because I do have footage for a vlog, but it's going to be a relatively short one, I think. And really all it really is just me discussing about a little bit about my life right now, and basically about my current workouts and things like that. I've already discussed it like pretty much every single time because everybody keeps asking. But just to let everybody know, I only train when it comes to weightlifting, usually 30 minutes to 45 minutes of that time of training is basically lifting weights. Nothing heavy, just lightweight, max reps until I start feeling, the good sensation, basically. Once my muscles are stimulated within, 30 minutes to 45 minutes of workouts, I will do about 40 minutes to an hour of cardio afterwards. And that's really my workout currently. Currently training about twice a week. Twice, maybe 3 times a week. And if I'm super busy, once a week is fine. Because I'm really just maintaining my physique at this point. Not necessarily, I would say that, how should I say it? I'm not trying to build more muscle. I'm just maintaining my physique at this point. So, yeah, nothing too crazy, honestly. And it's funny because it seems like everybody thinks I'm still working out 24/7. I've basically kind of stepped back on stage acting as well. So I am working more towards being a assistant director as of now. I did fire somebody, by the way. So, yeah, they just didn't want to show up for rehearsals. And because of that, I fired them. But basically now I'm still stage acting, but I'm also working more towards the production side of things. So that's pretty interesting. So that kind of helps a little bit of staying fit to where I can basically gain a little bit of weight, but maintain myself pretty well. And it's pretty interesting, honestly, because I'm basically softly retired on a bunch of things, but still doing a bunch of other things as well. Some people have asked if I'm still dancing. Yes, I still am. Just not as frequent because I'm working so often now. I'm not rusty, but it's been a little bit though. But still not rusty, thankfully. And yeah, it's very interesting, honestly, because everybody keeps everybody has like this like misassumption of me, basically like I'm working out every single day, doing this and that. I've been trying to actually mellow out because my life has been up until just like the past couple of years ago, I'd say, it has been more of a like climbing up a mountain. But now that I'm basically, my career is basically said and done. If you get the point I'm trying to get across. Like I have a successful career at this point. I don't need to prove anything else for those who are wondering. Yeah, and it's funny to say, everybody, when you think of a successful career, everyone nowadays thinks that a successful career is like a person who's rich, who's wealthy, well off. But that is not a successful career. A true successful career is a career that's one that is accomplished to the individual, whether it's a small goal or a big goal. So for me personally, I have nothing left to prove because I've already set out like everything I've set out to do. You working out more at night or in the mornings? It just depends. Like, it really just depends on like my time because like I stated, I do work a lot. So some days if I'm too busy to where I'm not free, I will have to actually train at night whenever I get home from work. And during that time, I don't usually do cardio because I'm already worn out from work for cardio. So usually I just lift weights, take a shower, and then go to bed if I'm training at night. Sometimes I will go out for a night run though, but it really just depends on how I'm feeling. But yeah, I have a very accomplished career now. I think it's really, time for me to start trying to find something new, which I'm trying to with voice acting, but voice acting has been kind of hectic as of now because finding time is basically the thing I'm trying to struggle with. Hello there, John. I hope you're going well. I still need to catch up on a little bit of anime though, John, so try not to spoil too much for me. But yeah, people have been asking as well about will I be posting like more stuff. It just depends because I have a lot I want to do, but I had to go one step at a time. I'm also not in a hurry as well because I'm a very patient person. Like extremely, I'm just too patient for my own good. So just a heads up, everybody. It's pretty surprising how everybody thinks that like since I'm just doing push-ups every day and posting on YouTube, that's basically what I'm doing. And it's not really true. Yes, I do post, push-ups every single day that I do as like a daily motivator for myself, honestly. But I do also want to clarify that I am working towards my goals. So one step at a time. Any thoughts about making a fresh, different haircut soon? I do plan on trimming my hair, but I don't plan on cutting it because, my hair is getting kind of long. So I do plan on trimming it out so that way it doesn't look like an emo haircut. So my hair will be trimmed pretty soon, but I don't plan on cutting it completely because I know what hairstyle works for me and what doesn't. And not to mention, even though I basically kind of stepped back from stage acting, I still am stage acting. So I do need my hair to look a certain way because I know, yeah, I do know how I need to look. Maybe you should do it in my anime list update and start with romance anime because you're a huge fan of romance anime. I plan on, see, here's what I wanted to do, John. I had an idea for a live stream to where I start a whole new my anime list account. Like a whole new account, and basically start like a new list because it needs to be updated. But I have so much animes that my opinions have changed on to where a lot have gone up and down, and I wish I could just clear out the entire list, but it doesn't have that option. But maybe in the future though. But yeah, though I do plan on cutting my hair a little bit because it is getting kind of long. But don't worry, everybody, it'll be fine for the most part though. For now. I will trim it in the next month or so. I will trim the sides, the top, and the front bangs because it's not so pleasant, isn't it, once it gets too long. I'm not trying to be emo, but I do know what hairstyle I want for my generic Asian, Korean, Japanese 2-block A-cut hairstyle. If you know anything about styling hair, it's very fancy. I'll say that much at least. Too fancy for its own good. And it's pretty interesting how my life has gotten kind of in this strange spot right now. My parents do want me to get married, which is very strange because my parents they keep approaching me in like one-on-one talks, I guess. try to grow my own hair, but I'm really annoying. You're really a living one person, no company. Uh, well, I live with my family somewhat. Um, so yeah, I don't really have like, I don't want to say I have a significant other. I'm still single, just for clarification. And I understand Motivation King that growing your hair can get really annoying. It depends on the person, honestly, and what their hairstyle is. But just for heads up though, everybody, yes, my parents do want me to get married, but I still, I, I still cannot find the person for me personally. I've had. Why would your parents want you to be married? It's really just because as you get older, it gets harder to date. This is without. I'm not. I don't know how to explain. I think. The best way to put it is this: as you get older, especially if you're in your 30s, dating does become very difficult because everybody by then will either be married or already be in a relationship. If not, they're probably either divorced with children or something of the sort. So, and and I understand where my parents are coming from, how they want me to get married, but I'm not in no rush, by the way, everyone. So I do want everybody to understand that. But this is just your typical Asian household where they expect you to do this and that, before a certain age. Ideally, I would like to get married before I'm 30, but let's just wait and see. It is becoming harder to find a partner in this day and age, especially as everybody's finding somebody. Dating has changed a lot for me though. Even though I do have dating experience, I don't really need dating advice because it's just kind of strange. Isn't that a very personal choice though? Yes, it is. It is a very personal choice. I don't mind dating right now, but at the same time, in terms of my dating life as of now, a lot of the dates I've been on, I'm more lean towards of like, this is a really nice friend to have, and not necessarily this is the person that I'm interested in dating, if you catch my drift. Because I do want people to understand that if I'm dating a person, I understand that like, there are like things that you have to have in common, such as like, what hobbies do you like, what food do you like, and things like that. But I also want people to understand that in terms of my dating life, I'm also looking for somebody who's trying to be committed long term. Because I don't want to just date for fun, I truly want to find my partner here. So I just want everybody to understand that. I am at a point now to where I'm very mellowed out. So I don't really seek out like, let's go out and do this, I don't go crazy, I'm more just like, I just really want to like just wake up and really just feel relaxed, just live a mellow life. When will you know that a relationship is serious? It just depends. It really depends on the person and the time you're dating them. There have been cases of where like I've dated people, but it was just not the right time. They were probably the right person, but they were not the right person at that time for me or for them. So really, it's hard to know when a relationship is serious because everybody, like, you won't really know who is and who isn't the right partner for you because everybody you meet is a total stranger, and it's really up to you and that individual to get to know one another and just slowly understand one another, and then you will start to gauge on things, that's just the honest truth. Honestly, you really can't just look at a person on their appearance and say this person isn't really it for me, unless there are like things you can see, like if they have like, things that bother you, I guess. But really, it's just up in the air. Having a true partner is really taking a bold, committed relationship. Yes, I am very... See, that's the thing. I'm at a point now to where I'm looking for a committed relationship, but at the same time, it's very... Okay, I'm very kind of... I am very, very wary nowadays, because, like, I don't fall quickly, by the way. Like, even when I go on dates, I don't blush as easily. I'm very, I don't want to say I'm stoic or cold, but I'm very wary because I don't want to commit to a relationship if I know that there are things that might not work out. Or in some cases, I do go on dates and I find that this partner or this potential partner, like, we're really great as friends. Like, I can see the chemistry, but in terms of like having them as my wife in the future, I just can't see it, you know? And this is something you have to learn as you start dating, is that sometimes the people you find or the people you're trying to build relationships with will be better off as more of a friend or someone as a close buddy of yours, I guess, rather than a potential partner. Because it gets really hard and sometimes the lines blurs, but there's a saying that like when you get married to the person you love the most, you're marrying your best friend. And that is pretty much kind of true to an extent. But the person that will suit you will have that bonus thing, basically. So for me personally, I know what dating is like. I've already been through this, you know, in and out, you know. And I know a lot of my viewers here are very young, but I do want my younger viewers to understand as well. Dating when you're younger and dating when you're older will be completely different. Basically, the way I view dating now compared to back then was more of like, this person looks really cute, or this person is very, you know, reminiscent of me because we have a lot of common, you know. But nowadays, I'm more lean towards of like, is this person the right fit for me? What is the future I can see with this person? And what will be the hurdles, the problems, and things that we will have that we need to work out, such as financial stability, you know, personal, mental, and emotional, you know, things. I'm very self-aware, you know, not just self-conscious, but very self-aware. So, yeah, that's the reason why my standards are not high. But to a lot of people, especially for those who are younger, it will probably seem kind of high as a standard. But this is just how dating is now as an adult. But as you get older, note that dating will get harder. Because, for example, if you're someone in your 30s and you're struggling to make a living and you want to date, it's different, you know? So she's gonna because I have never dated any advice. By the way, I'm going to college this year. Here's the thing. If you're going to college and it's basically you haven't dated before, take it slow. And I think this is kind of a strange thing to say this. I feel like nowadays the warped reality is that people expect that like somebody just approach somebody, they start talking, and then they just become like close enough to where they can become like a couple. In my experience, I think for a lot of people, they should try to start off as friends or like buddies, and then start talking to one another for like the next month or two. And then if they start to see something, then try to, you know, slowly build up to something. I wouldn't necessarily try to rush things, honestly, because it seems like the way we're going is that like people talk for a week and then like they ask each other out. Like that to me is kind of like a red flag. And it's really because like you can't know everything about a person within a week, you know? You just need to slowly learn about them one step at a time. I think a very practical approach to dating marriage can make people run away, since it lacks romanticism, even though it's realistic. That is the reason why I'm very wary, Anna, about, you know, dating, is because basically once you get married, you're basically, I don't want to say stuck with that person, but you're basically with that person for the rest of your life. And that is a commitment that is not easy, because once you develop your own independency, it's very difficult to settle down. Like, trust me, I've dated an independent woman before, sort of independent woman, and she broken off quick, just put it that way, because she, like, it's hard to make time for other people, put it that way. And she really just wanted time for herself and not time to commit to a relationship. So honestly, like, if you cannot commit time to something, it's going to be much more difficult, because you have to understand that building a relationship will take time, and you need to sacrifice some sort of time for that relationship. But the problem I face now is that as I grow older, time is not as easy, because everybody, you, your couple, your spouse, or whatever, you will both be working full-time jobs most likely. And because of that, you need to find time to commit to one another. This sounds like it's hard to explain because it's very difficult. Like, imagine you have bills to pay, things to worry about, and things coming up with the next month that's financially or mentally or emotionally draining. Not to mention you want to date too. You need to find time to organize, you know? So I understand where you're coming from, Anna, and everybody who's commenting in the chat. I'm very realistic here. I understand that if I get into a relationship, a committed one that is not going to be perfect. But at the same time, I can't really rush it either. And I hope my parents understands that too, even though my parents wants me to get married, but not in a hurry. But I would like to get married before 30, but if it does or doesn't happen, I'm fine with, you know. I'm just gonna let romance take its time, you know. I'm not gonna try to rush things, even though I have gone on a few dates, you know, because why not? It's a very interesting world that we live in today's time, though. I think, like, realistically, though, I think a lot of people nowadays are very self-conscious nowadays, to where, like, dating is very difficult for them. Does what your parents think matter? No, it does not. This is kind of my hot take. I think your parents' thoughts and opinions can be concerning at times, and at times, I think you should always take what your parents say into consideration, but you shouldn't really always listen to your parents, because there comes a time, as like, once you become an adult and there are bills to pay off, work to do, and basically matters to attend to as an adult, your parents won't be there for you anymore, and you're basically dependent on yourself, you know? So at that point in time, really, everything is all on you, and you can't really blame your parents then if things go wrong, because you're a working adult now, you know? You're independent. You don't have your parents no more. So that is kind of the thing that you know, about parents and their opinions and things like that. Always take into consideration, but don't let it be the driving force of, like, where things go in life for you, you know? Especially once you're grown up like I am. I know that you get better understand what's most important in having a relationship. Maybe from there you can know the worth of it. Everybody seeks... Here's the thing. Everybody seeks something different in a relationship, you know? So, people think that, like, once you get into a relationship, like, it's just two people falling in love with each other, happy ever after, but that is just not the realistic goal of it. Everybody will have something that they're looking for. Some people are looking more for the emotional connection, and some people are more towards the physical connection of intimacy in a relationship. Or it could be a financial situation, you know? Some people do marry for financial reasons as well, because they need to get more financially well off. I'm not saying these people are using people for money, but everybody's reasonings for getting into a relationship is different, and you kind of just need to figure it out as you go, honestly. Because at times it can be very obvious to know what a person wants in a relationship, you know? For me, personally, I'm looking for commitment in a relationship. That's currently where I stand currently, and I just want people to understand that. Some people think I'm looking strongly for the like, I do love romance animes, and I do love, like, the romance side of relationships, but at the same time, I'm looking for the committed side as well. And trust me, I try to stay very open-minded and very leveled at the same time. So that way I can be prepared mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially if something happens, or if things starts to hit bumpy roads, you know? It's hard, honestly, to explain it. And like, especially for those who haven't dated before. Now, most people are self-conscious, maybe because of social media or lack of interaction during lockdown. I felt that too. A lot of people are self-conscious nowadays. Pandemic is one of those reasonings. But I will say this though. It, you know, if you're not a talkative person, I think you should experience a bit more socializing before you try to commit to a relationship. Like even, I've met people who can talk online very confidently, but they can't talk in person confidently, but they want to get into a relationship. That can cause a bit of, problems down the road. I find that talking to people is not that difficult. I am an introvert, but I'm not a shut-in introvert. I'm just a regular introvert, that just likes to have his space every now and then. I still do go to parties and that, even though I don't like going to parties, But you need some sort of social life as well. Because once you become as you grow older, your social life, it really comes down to you personally. Because, you're your own dependent person, basically. So I'm not going to tell you that, what you can and can't do, but I do recommend that you do find some sort of socialization if you can. And I don't really hate on people if they don't want to interact with people. Everybody's different, But luckily for me, my college years was before the pandemic, so I did have a bit of socialization, and I did, and not to mention my colleagues when it comes to dance instructing or dancing that time, and also stage acting. They're two separate things, by the way. They did help a lot in terms of my interactions with people. And some people may not have that, and if not, I do hope that, someday you can find that. I find that for me personally, when it comes to the lonely people who don't have any friends, you should try to go to your local stores or something, or markets, or shopping districts, and try to talk to sellers, vendors, and people who are selling, and just try to start a conversation, just for beginnings, if you're very shy. I'm not very shy. I actually talk to people very well because I'm a stage actor. I perform in front of people, so this to me is nothing out of the ordinary. I'm very confident in terms of my speech level. It's very interesting. They cost a simple thing, yet most probably not find sincerity, dedication to make it work out. Dedication is okay. You mentioned something very, very true, and I will mention this right now. Sincerity and dedication, they kind of, those are really good words, by the way. I actually do like those words. But I think dedication is something I figured that a lot of people nowadays in relationships don't have. Because there is no such thing as a perfect relationship, in my personal opinion. There will be times when there will be tension, and there will be times when you will have to argue to sort things out. And I feel like the first time it happens, people immediately just want to go for a breakup. And this is the reason why I find it very hard to date people who have not dated before. And it's not because they lack experience, it's that you have to understand that a true relationship is not perfect. Because if it is, then it's just not a real one. Just being honest here. A real relationship will have tension, bumps on the road, and things you need to sort out. And trust me, I've been in relationships before, and there were times when I had to basically, I don't want to say yell, but basically debate and talk it out. I don't, like the day I got cheated on, basically. I really had to, basically, I don't want to force it out, but talk it out. To where she admitted that she did cheat on me, but it's very difficult, especially nowadays. I think trying to date is very difficult for a lot of people. John, I actually agree too. 5 years since COVID, the lockdowns and the pandemic. That is the thing that surprises me the most. Everybody was affected differently, honestly. But I do hope that for all of you people who are single out there, maybe you'll find your partner. As for me, I'm still looking, but I'm not in a hurry. you know? I try, like, to keep my personal life personal, but I do want to be transparent whenever I can, you know? And yes, I am still looking for a partner. I'm still using Tinder, by the way, everybody. I'm still talking to people, or try to at least. I try to go out to more parties, more social events, bars, things like that, and hopefully try to find somebody. But it's very difficult for me because, one, there's not much in common with me and these people that I do meet. But I do want to give everybody a chance, because you just don't know. So like whenever I do find somebody that does have something in common with me, such as anime or music or something of the sort, that is pretty cool. But like at the same time, I need to gauge like the person I'm dating on like how far they're willing to commit to a relationship, you know? I'm not saying like let's date and if it goes well, let's get married. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like I'm trying to think further down the road here. So you're going to need to talk. This is the thing that makes relationships very difficult, is that you want to talk, but you don't want to talk too much. Because if you talking too much can be kind of a headache sometimes. But there are times you will need to talk it out. I don't care. Do you think you can find someone like without? Huh. Anna, I honestly don't know. Everybody is situational and everybody is circumstantial. So basically, some people may be more luckier than others, I guess, to where they don't need to find somebody and it just kind of happens. For example, my sister is one great example. This is coming out like from like an anime or something. So believe it or not, this is actually a funny story. My sister actually married her childhood sweetheart. They grew up together since they were little kids. Like from the beginning all the way up to now. They got married, they have a kid now, and they're basically well off. My sister basically owns her own catering side business that it'll be. And I don't want to say they're financially well off, but they're financially working towards stability. And that is like the most craziest anime romance story of all time. Two childhood friends growing up, becoming extremely close, getting married, having a child, and basically becoming, I don't want to say financially stable, but basically financially better off than most. So sometimes it can happen, Anna, but it's really just situational. Some people are more luckier than others. Other people will have to go out and look for somebody because, for example, if you live in the middle of nowhere, it will become difficult to find people. You have to go out because you live in the middle of nowhere, you know? Could be time. But yeah, though, that is a funny story between my younger sister and her childhood sweetheart. Honestly, you don't think that would ever happen, but it happens. It can happen. I've seen it, which is so. It is so anime. Oh my god. I can tell you about my kid sister's romance is so anime. It's crazy, honestly. I'm surprised he was able to win her over too, because like this is just so crazy now that I think about it. It's more like a fantasy story. Yeah. Honestly, I'm surprised he won her over because he didn't have in my okay, this is a biased take. I actually thought he didn't have any chance with my younger sister. Because you have to understand, my well, he's my brother-in-law now, so my brother-in-law basically, even though he was a childhood friend of my little sister, he was extremely short. Just put it that way. He's extremely short. But like he's extremely short, and he basically comes from a poor family like us as well, and a different ethnicity as well, so a different culture entirely. But somehow, some way, I don't know how, he won over my sister, and that just is a miracle, honestly. What a beautiful story, by the way. He just somehow won her over. It must have been pure luck, guts, and will, because, like, she was basically like everybody's sweetheart, you know. But it took a while. I'm not even gonna flex. It didn't take like a month or something. It took years for it to work out, because I guess he waited long enough to where, you know, she didn't tell you why. Let's just say he had. Let's just say when high school came around, like he had like the most craziest riz of all time, I guess. Because my kid's sister, basically, she was extremely smart, extremely pretty, by the way. She was extremely pretty. I'm not even kidding. She was like your typical little sister in anime, to where like everybody wanted to date her. And not to mention, she was basically the smartest person in the school. But, like, at the time, during her junior high school years, basically her middle school years, she dated, I think she dated a couple people, but it just didn't work out, I guess. And for some reason, my brother-in-law, or her childhood friend at the time, he just basically kind of hung out with his little buddies, you know, in the corner, I guess. It wasn't until senior high school, or high school that is, when he really somehow figured it out. I don't know how he did. Like it's just crazy, man. What type of person he had. If it's too personal, ignore it. Nah. He was like your typical guy, honestly. He played video games. He was into cars, by the way. Like his dad was into cars and stuff. So like his dad got him into cars. And then by the time he was 16, he had his own car. I still remember it too. It was a red, I forgot what model it was. It was a red car. It was a really nice car. And it was a manual car, I remember. It was red, very nice looking. You know, that was his first car. And then he later on sold that car, and he got a better car. And then he sold that car, and then he got a better car. But yeah, though, very nice though, honestly. And it was a happy ending too, by the way. There, like when they started dating, there was tension, but they made it work. A lot. They made it work. And now they're basically living on their own. They're married. They have a kid. The man taking the point, I knew you longer, as a higher rate winning method. I wouldn't necessarily say that, honestly, because this is a funny thing. So even though they knew each other since they were little kids, like literally little kids, basically they kind of stood apart, because you got to remember, they were kids at the time. It was like, ew, I hate girls, or it was like I still remember it too. Like when I was younger, people will make jokes like, you know, like this person and that person kissing under a tree and things like that, you know. So it wasn't really until later on, I guess. Man, he waited. That's crazy. He waited. Like, I don't know how you can wait like 9 years for the right time just to win over your childhood sweetheart. That is just beyond crazy, honestly. And I truly mean that in the truest sense, but... Well, I'm sorry, I'm getting sidetracked, everybody. But back to what I'm saying, though. It really is very difficult, depending on the person, though. But Anna, though, I really do think that it really depends on where you live, and basically where you are in life. Because some people, like, they will find others without trying. Other people, they will need to go out and look for that person. Because if you're basically, like, just stuck sitting in your room all day, it's like you're waiting for nothing to happen, you know? So it's not really good for you. So I really do think that people do have to go out to some extent. Unless you're like my kid's sister who got lucky, you know? Or basically my brother-in-law who got lucky, because I didn't think he had a chance, if I'm being honest. He was just at the right place at the right time, and he worked his butt off, dude. He worked his butt off to earn her. And I will say that for damn sure. Because like there were like I'm not even kidding when I say that, because there were guys who were taller, more better looking, and also way more smarter than he was. But he outworked them. I'm just gonna give him credit. He outworked them. Like, he gets paid very well now. He still likes cars. His favorite is Hondas and Nissans, you know. And then my kid's sister, even though they have a kid, they're working very hard right now to support their kid. Even though they're basically financially well off, I guess, because my sister does her own little catering business, I guess. It's a very interesting thing though, honestly. But that just won't happen in today's time, in my personal opinion. You just have to be at the right time, and right place, and some courage. The answer is RTAP. If you don't know what that is, RTAP is the definition of everything. Right time and place is what RTAP means. If you can be the most luckiest person and the most skilled person, but if you're not at the right place, but you need to be at the right place at the right time, you know, to make things work. I'm still looking for my partner, but that's just me personally though. Everybody's situation will be different. Some people are luckier, others are not so lucky. For me, I've been in the rough spot, and I'm still looking for my partner. But it's very difficult though. Anyway, have a cool time talking to you, bro. You gotta go. I don't force anybody to stay on my live streams, because right now, today, I'm just talking about my life currently. So I just want to update everybody, basically, is what I'm doing here. So if it gets boring, or if you just want to tap out, by all means, feel free to do so. I don't feel some type of way, you know? It's just something that is just understandable. But yeah, though, everybody, I am still dating, I guess. But yeah, I'm not really trying to force a relationship, if you understand what I'm saying. I think my friend said it best. You just need to let love find you. But at the same time, it's kind of contradictory, because if you're doing nothing with your life, sometimes, like, you're not going to get anything, you know? I have a friend, and I feel so sorry for him. Like, he wants things to happen to his life, but he's just not doing anything with it, you know? Like, you can't expect change, or you can't expect things to happen if there's no motion. Thank you. I hope yours stays safe too, man. Stay strong, keep going, and hope you're the best. But I'm just gonna outright say it though. You can't expect things to happen if you don't do anything, you know, because it's just not realistic. I have not talked to a stranger this much for this whole year. Thanks. I'm not trying to talk you down, you know, if you haven't talked to people. All I'm saying is that life is okay, I've said this before, and I'll say this again. You are the main character of your story, or you are the character of your story. You may be a main character, you may be a side character. It doesn't really matter. What really matters the most is that you make the most out of your life with what you have. So every single day that you're living, you are turning a page in your life story, a page in your book. Is basically what I'm saying. And every single word that is being written down in your life story is basically what you've done that day. Like, it's really up to you whether it's really up to you whether your life is better or worse. You know, when a page is written already, your story, whatever happened yesterday, it happened. You know, learn from it if it's something bad, and focus on the future. You just have to keep on going. That's basically what I'm saying in simple terms. You know, there will be times you will feel like you're stuck in life. But if you feel stuck in life, what you really need to do is to get up and keep on going. Because what I fear the most nowadays is that people nowadays learn to give up so easily because one thing did not work out. Just because it didn't work out one time doesn't mean that it's over. Sometimes it will take multiple attempts, but please, learn from it get up from it and then try again, you know? Because I feel like as a society, when we're younger as children, we're taught to be successful. But in my personal opinion, I think that as children, we need to learn how to basically understand and basically comprehend failure. Because as you get older and you suffer more failures and things like that, it's mentally draining, you know? Like it can make you want to quit. But as children, if we're taught failure and things like that, as we grow older, we can learn to comprehend it better and learn to take it in better, you know? Basically become a stronger person. I feel if I ever have children, or if I ever start a family, I will teach my children not just successful things, but also failure and how to learn from it, you know? Because like we're not teaching our youth everything. We're only teaching them how to succeed, but not how to fail. You will fail more times than you will succeed. But for every success you have, or or basically every success that you'll get, it will be much more than all the failures that you've basically been through, you know? Because like even for me in my career coming up, like well over, you know, like 11 years of dancing and things like that, there were many times I failed, I got injured, many times I basically lost dance competitions, got humiliated and things like that. But I just kept on going to where I am now, you know? Same thing for starting my Tarantula business. I've spent thousands of dollars on, you know, business ventures that end up being a complete bust. I literally lost money, you know? But I just kept on going. I picked myself back up and I kept on going. Even when my girlfriend at the time left me because I was financially in debt during the pandemic. Like, you know, not to mention, I thought I was going to be homeless, but I worked hard, I got off my butt, and I just kept moving forward. It gets pretty hard at times because sometimes our failures can become distractions to where we get stuck in life. But at some point, you will look in the mirror and you will figure out that, like, holy shit, this is my life, you know? And then you'll just fix yourself up as you go, you know? Some people will take it easier than others, and some people will need time to figure it out. But I pray that everybody will just keep on going with their lives. Same thing for me as well. I've been on, you know, multiple dates, but I still haven't found the one. But it doesn't mean I give up, you know? Because if I give up now, I may regret it forever. And I hate, like, I would rather, this isn't true for everything I'll do, but this is true for the majority of things I'll do. The majority, okay, everybody? I can live with failure, but I cannot live with what if. Because that what if is not, like, the and ifs, buts, and what ifs is kind of the thing that kind of drives me to keep on going. But I'm not the one to make the shots here for you personally. It's up to you to determine whether you want to call it quits or keep on going. You know? For me personally, I will keep on going. But that's just for me though, everybody. That's why I'm still dating. Even though I'm not, you know, I'm not in a hurry to get into a relationship, but it doesn't mean that I just stop dating in general and just give up. Because if you think about it, if I'd given up dating right now and I just went to work and came home and post videos and things like that, you see the problem there? I'm not meeting people. So I'm not increasing my chances of finding my potential partner. You get what I'm saying? So I do have to go out to some extent, you know, to try to find my partner. But one day I will find my partner though. I don't know exactly who my future partner will be or where they'll live, but maybe we can make things work, maybe not. I really just don't know. It's really hard nowadays, honestly. I think, well, ending off that topic, you know, and coming to this topic, really, it just depends at this point. What's your favorite anime or manga villains? Okay, that's pretty interesting. Villains. I don't really have a favorite anime villain. Like, I really don't. I think the closest one will probably be somewhere. I think Naruto. I think Naruto has some of the best villains, you know? Kumo, out of curiosity, why is it important for you to share your life with someone? Like, why is it important to have a partner in your life? The answer is simple. Humans, in my personal opinion, are communal creatures. I don't think that, like, humans as a whole can live their life in solidarity. Basically live alone, you know? Having a partner is a great way for multiple reasons, though. I understand that some people do like their independency, as in they like to be, you know, independent, like having their own space and things like that. But for me personally, I think having a partner is great because it's basically like having a best friend, but somebody with you basically every single day, you know? And I'm sure everyone had at one point or still does have a best friend that they talk to every now and then. But getting into a relationship is kind of the same thing. It's like having somebody in your life to basically be the emotional, mental, and whatever support you need them to be, you know? But this is why dating is kind of, or getting into a committed relationship is kind of a challenge, is because you need to understand what your partner is looking for too, you know? For me, so it's very interesting, honestly, though. I know that some people will make up some dumb excuse like, I don't want to be alone, or like, or that could be a valid reasoning too, I guess. You know? Or some people will be like, maybe I want to be financially better. I don't know. Everybody's different. But I personally don't believe that we should be living alone. I think a lot of people are very lonely nowadays. Recent studies shown that 1 in 9 or 1 in 7 people don't have any friends or are very lonely. And it's honestly kind of sad to hear that. So, you know, it's very difficult, honestly, though. P.S. Good luck with your with your earring. And my earrings are custom made, by the way. Yep, my earrings are custom made for stage acting, so I do wear them from time to time. The chain here is, and the enamel here that hangs on it is custom made. But yeah, it's very complicated, everybody, though. I hope that I do find my partner, I guess. But then again, though, I'm not gonna be the person to tell you that I will or won't find a partner. I just gotta see how life works out for me. One Piece, that is true, by the way. That's exciting to hear, John. One Piece's anime dub is gonna catch up to the original Japanese, you know, voice acting. It's kind of surprising because it took years for that to happen, but at least it's finally happening now. So now we don't have to wait, you know, so long for like the next episode to be dubbed. It's pretty cool though, if you think about it. I'm super excited for dating. Like, I don't know. I'm not really the person that has all the answers, but I am somebody that can just tell you what I've been through and back, and basically just give you, you know, my experiences, my thoughts up until now. You will find your partner without doubts. It will come. I hope so. I've tried everything at this point, but it feels kind of hopeless. But I'm still trying. You know, so here's a funny thing. So there was a small anime cosplay event that I went to. It took about like an hour, 2 hours to get there, basically. When I got there, it was alright, but I didn't really find anybody I like. Even though there were people who were interested. Some of the people that were interested in me were smokers. Like heavy smokers, or they drink a lot. And that's not for me personally. I do drink on special occasions, like events or at parties. But I don't just go out and drink whenever I want to drink, you know? And I don't smoke either. So that was kind of discouraging. But I'm hoping I can find somebody, though. Like, I don't mind if my partner has tattoos or, like, a lot of earrings or something. You know, a lot of ear piercings or piercings in general. But I'm not a smoker, nor am I a heavy drinker. So, like, that whole anime cosplay party event was not so great, just put it that way. Not to mention, I'm not a big fan of parties. I do go to parties, but I don't go crazy at parties. You know, it's very complicated right now in my life in terms of dating, though. Like, I also do want people to understand that I don't want people to date me because how good I look or because, you know, things like that. I just want people to find interest in me for who I am, you know? Because I understand that looks will be a driving factor for a lot of people, but I will grow older at some point. I won't look the same as I will now, you know? Like, I think one great example is that I saw a picture of myself 10 years ago, and I compared it to 10 years like now to where I am now. I look completely different. Like so different, I don't even recognize who I was back then, you know? So I really just, you know, like, I'm willing to accept people for who they are, but it's the commitment that I'm afraid of, you know? It makes me very wary. So every single time I think I found a partner, I'm not gonna lie, I get kind of scared because I'm scared to commit because of my past experiences. So I really just, like, I don't want to be rude and just break it off, but I really just say, you know, can we just be friends? You know, I get kind of shy because I get scared. Yeah, I think I should admit that right now. I do get scared of committing to a relationship because I know I could commit, but I'm just not sure how the other person feels. You know? Like, it's hard to find people who are open-minded in a relationship. It's very difficult in today's time. Like, you can't... It's something I just recognize. Like, now that I look back on my dating experiences, a lot of my... Like, the thing is that I think my partners, they give you hints, but they won't tell you, you know? You just kind of had to, you know, catch on the hints they're giving you. And for me personally, like, it's strange. I want to fall in love again. I'm not even gonna lie. But at the same time, I'm just scared. Because, like, what if I committed years and it just doesn't work out, you know? You know, that's actually kind of true, honestly. It seems that people, you know, people are interested in me, but I'm just kind of scared. So, like, I won't turn you down, but I will kindly ask if we can just be friends. Because I don't know. It's just, I think some people can move on easier than others, you know? Because at the end, there will always be a risk to be disappointed. It doesn't mean the experience wasn't worth it. Every experience in dating is a learning experience, always, without question. I already know that, but I can commit, but I have trust issues, I guess. Because I feel like the people who are willing to give, like, that commitment are usually the people who don't have much dating experience and don't know what they're getting into, basically. And then the people who have a lot of a dating experience, those people usually do give a chance, but they're more easier to cut off relationships, you know? So, like, I can't find that balance of somebody who's willing to commit, but also, you know, understand, you know, of what they're getting into. Because a lot of people, it's funny. A lot of people say they're ready for a relationship, but they're not ready for somebody else. If you get what I'm saying. It's very scary, honestly. And, come on, say, like, I don't want to be, like, rude here, but I just want people to understand, though, you know? Like, I'm very tolerable to other people, which is why when it comes to me personally in my dating life, like, I don't want to say I'm not the problem, but it's usually the fact that, like, I'm very tolerable to where, like, it's easier for people to cut it off with me. Because like, if somebody says that wants to break up, I guess it's fine. Because I've been there and back to where I'm very tolerable. And I know a lot of people will try to fight back and say like, please don't leave me. Or they'd make some desperate countermeasure to move, so that way they don't end a relationship even though it's not working. I'm not that type of person, It's not that easy to find that person. Maybe it's more about trying to trust people again. I actually don't agree with that. I do trust people, actually. Because if I didn't trust people, I wouldn't be here now. Especially when it comes to acting and stage acting. It's just that in a relationship, especially one that you're trying to commit to in hopes of finding marriage, that commitment is a true test, basically. It's a different type of trust. Because your trust with your coworkers and your trust with your family and friends are not the same. Some people lump them the same, but it is not. Like for example, if you're having like a rough time that's personal, you trust your family or your friends enough to talk to them about it, compared to somebody who you're working with. Like, you can trust them to do this work for you. There's different types of trust here that are coming in at play. Trust people that are interested in me. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing in a relationship. I think the beginning, this is something everybody can relate to that has dated before. The beginning is always the easiest part in a relationship. Period. Is usually later on down the road where it gets rough. Because once you know everything about your partner, their insecurities, the things that you may or may not like, their problems, whether it's social, mental, emotional issues, financial issues, whatever, you start to, I don't want to say place them somewhere, but you start to understand them better to where like you start have you will have second guesses at times. Everybody does, and that's where the real problem comes in. Honestly, is that you need to learn to people need to learn to accept other people's flaws. Sometimes the flaws is too much to where like you're just not compatible. That part I do get, but at other times there are flaws to where like you and your partner just need to figure it out together. The question is, how much time are you willing to put into it, And this is where my trust issues comes in. Like, if you have flaws, usually I try to talk it out and try to work things out, But I don't want to say too much, because I feel like if one person speaks too much for the, like, here's the thing about relationships that I've learned. I think communication is important, but if you let your significant other talk too much for you, it becomes more of like a one-sided manipulation, You can even tell when I'm talking to you, to the viewers that are watching this live stream, that I say things, but I don't want to overtake you, in a conversation. It's more like a 50-50 back and forth. And that to me is where that's where a healthy relationship needs to be at, I don't want, like, if I start dating a woman, I don't want the woman to talk for me about about issues and problems in a relationship. Or if you're a woman and you start dating a guy, you really do not want your guy to just talk for you in a relationship whenever there's a problem. Because that can lead to manipulation and basically emotional abuse to some extent. So I will talk with you, but I don't want to be the one who's leading on this conversation, It's not healthy. And this is something that that you have to figure out about your partner, because sometimes your partner may be quiet or your partner may talk a lot, and you just kind of need to figure out how much you need to say and how much you have to say. And a lot of people don't take that into considerations when it comes to relationships, and that's why it becomes very, very, I don't want to say unhealthy, but it becomes very difficult down the road. And if you don't believe me, I think the best way to put it is you just need to go experience dating yourselves, or date more often. Unless you get very lucky and find your partner early on in life to where you only went through 1 or 2 partners and that was it. You know, some people get lucky. For me, I've been through a few already, and I haven't been so lucky. But yeah, though, that is my dating experience, though. In terms of like, not, I wouldn't even say dating experience. It's more of my relationship experience. This is why I kind of talk the way I do. I know how much I should or shouldn't say. You know, at times. There are times I slip up too. You know, I'm human. Cut me some slack. But everybody will understand, though. But I hope that for people who are in a relationship right now, I hope that is not one-sided conversations you're having, you know, in terms of trying to talk it out with your partner. And I will say this to the ladies. If you're a woman and you're watching this, make sure your husband or your boyfriend or fiance doesn't speak too much for you whenever things get rough. Because guys do tend to talk too much, in my personal experience. And trust me, I'm just speaking facts here. Guys will say a lot. Like, this is kind of the annoying thing, is that guys will say a bit too much, and it's just kind of annoying, honestly. So, if you're a guy and you're dating a woman and you're talking too much and your woman doesn't respond back, or she just gives you gestures and things like that, you know, it's really just a sign that you're just speaking too much as a guy. You just need to give her space. It's simple as that, you know. Hey, I'm just speaking facts here, you know, because some guys, they kind of want to speak too much, but I really kind of mellowed out now, you know. It's strange how much I've changed compared to when I first started dating. You can tell I went through a lot because the way I'm speaking here. Back then, when I was dating, when I was younger, I was more extrovert. I think I should admit that now. I was very extrovert in my college years when I was dating. I went out a lot more. I talked a lot more. I think I talked too much, if I'm being honest. But as I grow older, I become more, I don't want to say reserved, but I know my place on when and when not to speak. And it can become kind of frustrating because sometimes, like, there are things I want to say, but it's not in my place to do so. You have to understand that. Sometimes, like, you are just not the right person to tell your spouse or your significant other. And sometimes your friend or a family member needs to say it for you. And this is something I also learned over time, is that if you know something and you want to say something, but you're not in the place to do so, you need to ask a friend to do it for you, because it can become extremely toxic if the right person doesn't say it. Because I find this kind of irritating, because, you know, I've seen friends whose relationships didn't work out because they said too much at the wrong time and they were just not the right person to say it. There's a time and place for everything, and that is where everybody will kind of need to learn from experience. It's the right time and place to say something. Love is a beautiful thing. I would admit that. It is truly a beautiful experience. But at the same time, though, everything has boundaries. So I really hope people understand that. My dating relationships has been very rough because every single relationship that didn't work out for me was a learning experience to some extent. And trust me, the more partners you've been through, the more you start to learning about people and yourself especially. So now I'm very... I have trust issues. I'm not even gonna lie now. I know there are a lot of people who are interested in me, but I just can't commit as easily because I worry that, like, what if my partner knows everything about me and then they just lose interest, you know, at that point, you know? It has happened before. That has happened. Or what if, like what if everything was going fine and then financially something happens to where I'm financially struggling and they just leave? That has happened to me before. Or what if, like, we dated and then I'm too busy doing this and that, and then they look for another partner and they end up cheating on me? That has happened. Like, I've been through it all at this point. I even proposed one time. I got turned down. That was really rough, you know? I do have trust issues now that I think about it when it comes to relationships. It's just commitment is a beautiful thing, but it's also a scary thing. I trust my gut when it comes to my commitment, but I don't know my partners, you know? Like, I can't call the shots for you. So really for me, like, I like to keep boundaries now, which is not a good thing because it really isolates me. Like, I'm self-aware, everybody. I'm not that stupid, man. Bro is full of scars. I don't want to say I'm full of scars, but let's just say I've learned a lot. I think that's the best way to put it. I've learned a lot in relationships, honestly. Both the good and the bad. It's like, here's the thing that I find very interesting. Life can surprise you in a good way. I agree. Here's the thing about relationships that a lot of people don't consider. Anything can happen. This is the thing, like, I always put myself into now whenever I think about a relationship, is that anything can happen. Anything. I truly mean it. Like, it's really strange to say that, but I can say that now because every single time I dated, like here's the thing. Whenever, you know, I finally find that energy again to commit to a relationship and I go back into a relationship, it's like something unexpected something unexpected will happen again to where like something new comes my way that I've never experienced before that becomes a problem, you know? Such as insecurities, trust issues, financial issues, relationship issues, and then a spouse's or a significant other's past issues, you know? It can become a problem. Like, I will not tell you, okay, I'll not tell you too much about my past relationships, but there was this one time, I didn't date this individual for long. We only dated for like a month, but basically we cut it off. But I was happy when she did. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't hate her, but this individual had this woman was basically a runaway wife. So her husband was basically still looking for her, but she was not divorced officially, and it was very annoying. Basically, I think that's the best way to put it. And not to mention everybody around kind of got too personal. They kind of got too nosy. But that was like every single relationship that you'll get into will be a learning experience. It is a headache, honestly. Like, you'll ask yourself what happened to normal people. And here's the thing. There is no such thing as a normal person. Everybody has weird habits or things that they find strange. For example, people find my hobby with spiders and animals to be strange, which it is strange, I'll admit. But that's the thing I like more about people, though, is when they're transparent. So every single time I go on a date, you dated someone else's wife. Essentially, that's what happened. But to what I'm saying, though, is that, like, I'm more confident in us. Like, I trust an individual more if they're more open about themselves. This is why I like really open-minded individuals, but those are really hard to come by nowadays. So, yeah. It's very interesting, honestly. Because, how should I explain this? I think the best way to put it is this. If you're dating somebody and everything is perfect, that should be your red flag. That should be a red flag, period. That is I think that's the best advice in terms of like perfection that I can give you. There is no such thing as a perfect partner. There are partners where you have a lot of things in common, but there should not be such a thing as a perfect partner. If there is, you're either one in a lifetime, or they just don't exist. Because there have been times when, like, I think I found the person, but once I started dating them, like, they showed their flaws then. And usually I try to work around their flaws, you know. Maybe we can work it out. But usually it becomes too much of like a self-conscious thing to where like it just doesn't work, you know? So really though, whenever I'm dating somebody or I go on a first time date, I really want to know like things that ticks them off or their bad habits. Even now I do ask you know, my dates, you know, what are some habits that you think is not so great on you? Or what are some things you do that like people don't like? Or like what makes you angry? What are your red flags and things like that? Like I don't like it's strange for me to say that. It's not that I think the best way to describe my dates is that I need to know more about you. Like the things that you really that icks you basically, things that ticks you off, you know? Or things that might tick other people off, because that's where the real tension will be in, you know, will be at in terms of relationships, especially once you start to live together, if you do go that far, you know. For me personally, like, I'm not a perfect person, not by any stretch of the imagination. For example, my room smells like a pet store. I still do even say that. Like, you can even look behind me. I have too many animals. As a matter of fact, I work more than I do with free time. Another great example is that I'm too mellow. Like, I don't want to say I'm a mellow person, but when it comes to talking, I don't really like to argue. I like to talk it out, you know? But I'm not going to speak too much, because if you speak too much in a relationship, that just becomes annoying, you know? You have to understand though. And trust me, like, I'm not a perfect person. So I'm hoping that like somebody can just accept my flaws for who I am. Like, everybody has flaws and things they're self-conscious of. I can't even go. It's crazy. It's just crazy what my life is right now, honestly. But maybe I'll find somebody though. And by the way, just for clarification, I'm not necessarily the person who cares about looks or financial situation or things like that. Poor, rich, short, tall, skinny, overweight, you know, it doesn't really matter. I give everybody a chance. Like, I really do give everybody a chance. It's because you just don't know who your partner will be. So, because of that, like, I don't really like to pass up on people. I'm not saying you're an easy date. That's not what I'm saying. If I do date somebody, I'm not saying they're easy. That's why I'm dating them. No, it's more so of like, if like, you just don't know, you know, because you just don't meet somebody and say this person is my wife now. It just doesn't work like that. You have to get to know them better to basically see if there's something you can work out here. Now, sometimes now everybody's flaws will be different. And I'm just hoping that my strengths can fix some, or not fix, but can help coexist or basically help out with some individuals' flaws. For example, I like to clean and cook. I can clean and cook pretty well, actually. And when I'm not even gonna lie, one time I went to my ex's house and I could just see, like, here's the thing. I know when somebody's lying about, like, you know how you have guests coming over and your house is messy and you need to clean up your house or your room, for an example. Like, I can see like your habits just by walking in. If it's too perfect, I know that you're basically kind of a messy person, sort of, you know. And you just basically cleaned your house last second. Like I can see habits basically. I'm very good at that, actually. Like, I can basically immediately tell your habits if you have good hygiene, bad hygiene, based on how you try to hide yourself, you know? Like, you can even see my stuff here. It's not clean, but it's not messy by any stretch of the imagination, you know? And this is why, like, I'm just me, you know? So, like, when I go to, like, an ex's house, or, for example, like, when I was still dating this one woman, I went to her home and I can just, like, I immediately knew this was a messy individual. Is it a problem for me? No, not really, honestly, because When it comes to cleaning personally, I will clean my own stuff out pretty well actually. But I can tell your habits pretty quickly just by meeting you for one day. Like, you'd be surprised at how good you are at reading people. It's something you pick up from stage act. Oh, something I picked up from acting is understanding human nature and basically, little things like here and there. I think it can be a bit too pragmatic and practical for something as uncontrollable and emotional as love. Emotions sustainably have a big impact on commitment. That is so true. That is so true, Anna. Kind of, I'm reading your post, your comment there. I can actually understand that to a big degree, honestly. But man, that takes me back so far back, man. To like the first woman I ever loved. Like, I was way too emotional and way too uncontrollable. Not to mention I was too desperate, and I still didn't win her. And then she tried to win me back, but it was by that point I've changed. Like, I moved on, It's kind of sad, honestly, Anna, now that I think about it. How, like, love can really drive people crazy at times. Not because they want to, but it's just that I don't know how to explain it. I don't want to say it's commitment, but the bond between that person and you, it can drive you crazy. Like, I'm not even kidding. I even remember, like, one of my exes stalking me to work. I still remember that. But I just kind of like, yeah, you kind of had to accept that too. See, I'm going to say this right now. I feel like a lot of people nowadays are kind of one-sided, which is the reason why a lot of relationships are really bad nowadays. Relationships are never one-sided. I think guys are way too logical and way too, like... This is just my hot take. No disrespect to all the guys here or anything, but this is just me spitting on pure facts. I think a lot of guys nowadays are way too, like, upfront, if I'm being honest. Like, you have to understand that, I'm not saying, like, all women are emotional, but I feel like men need to understand women more emotionally and mentally as well. Because this is just, I know, like, I'm not trying to, like, to talk down on the guys here, but one thing I've noticed nowadays, and this isn't me being mean, this is me, I'm not trying to be mean here, I'm just trying to be honest here about, like, what I've noticed in most guys nowadays. I feel like most guys nowadays try to be too masculine. I understand that being masculine is the good thing because you're not seen as weak, but at the same time, you kind of ignore the emotional, mental, and basically, that aspect of a relationship to a woman. I'm not saying women are more emotional, but I think as a guy, and as for most men nowadays, we need to understand women more emotionally as well. It's just something I've noticed. And I'm not even, I don't want to talk down to my stage actors because some of my fellow stage acting colleagues are kind of like that, Like, you need to be self-aware here. And I'm not even trying to be mean at this point, but it sounds like I'm being mean, but I'm not. It's just something that, like, a lot of guys need to figure out once they start dating, That, like, being, like, there are times when you have to be, like, a man, obviously. But you shouldn't try to be, like, the man in a relationship 24/7. Because, like, it just becomes too controlling. And then it becomes more of, like, expectations versus reality than rather trying to make a relationship work, Because it's just so infuriating, honestly, to see how backwards a lot of men have become nowadays. And it's not even really a fault of their own. But it's the fact that they're not self-aware enough to understand that sometimes a woman just needs somebody to lean on. And not somebody to fight for them all the time. It's a strange it's a strange topic to get up, like to actually talk about, because normally you would discuss this with your partner, not with me personally. I'm not a counselor, by the way. I'm not a romance counselor, so or a relationship counselor for that matter. But to all the guys who are watching this, I hope that someday you'll understand where I'm coming from. But this isn't something that I can just tell you and you'll know and learn. This is something you will have to learn through experience. Because like I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I think my first relationship, I was a bit too forward as a I don't want to say I was too masculine, but I was a bit too forward. Like, it's just not great, honestly. If I could go back in time, I definitely like wish I could have been more understandable on the emotional and the mental aspect of, you know, having a partner. So like, so please be like, I don't know. So please I don't know. Please be more respectful, I guess is the best way to put it. And please understand that sometimes you do need a bit of space between each other too, you know. Like, I feel like people, I don't know, you don't have to do everything together in a relationship, if you catch my drift here. Sometimes it's better if, like, a guy just go hangs out with his buddies, or a girl go hangs out with her buddies. You know? That is like a simple thing you can learn early on in a relationship, is learn how to have your time apart too, you know? Because I will go crazy. Like, I would literally go crazy if I was stuck at my house every single day of my life. You know? I'm not saying that like having a partner with you 24/7 is a bad thing, but there are times when we just need to understand one another, is basically where I'm getting at. But to all the guys out there though, please try to understand a woman more emotionally and more mentally as well, because guys are different. I'm not trying, like, in both good ways and bad ways. You know, it's just so infuriating because, like, I keep seeing men nowadays think that, like, you have to be masculine or strong, you know, or that you need to work out to have a girl. That is not true at all, man. This is the thing that infuriates me. You just need to understand a woman better. That's all it really comes down to, man. Is it like it just drives me nuts, because I know there are people who are sending me emails still saying, "Are you still going on dates?" Yes. And some people are asking, "How do you get a date?" The answer is be open-minded. Like, literally, I feel like men are too dense in the head. Like, this drives me nuts, honestly. So, like, when I see a guy who thinks he's an alpha male, my first reaction is, this guy is the biggest loser I've ever seen in my life. Like, I'm just being completely transparent here. If you're a true alpha male, you will not say anything. Like, you will not be, like, you wouldn't be boastful, you wouldn't be cocky, you wouldn't even say you're better or worse than this or that person. You're just a person in your own lane, you know? It just drives me nuts to see all these fake wannabes, you know, these guys who thinks like, I'm not saying I'm better or worse than these people. All I'm saying is that you need to be self-aware here, everybody. Like, please understand everyone around you. We're all people at the end of the day. Like, this person may not have somebody today, but tomorrow they may have somebody, you know? Like, you just don't know where these people are going. Some people will go up and down in life, you know? They don't stay in one spot constantly. So if you see a guy who can't get anybody, like, that's just for now. It's only temporary. In the future, they will find somebody, you know? The alpha male stuff is corny. It is super corny and sad, honestly. I'm going to be the person to say this, and I'm not even going to try to be mean. I do not support the alpha male movement. I truly do not. Because what it really does is it makes you more isolated, lonely, and desperate, without even having to say or show those things. I'm sorry, everybody. I don't mean to, like, call out some guys or some people here, but you have to understand that, like, like, you are yourself, you know? You shouldn't let people tell you how to be like in life. Because, you know, I've seen people say that like alpha males tell you this, like if a self-proclaimed alpha male is telling you to be this way, to be alpha, you're not alpha. Because alpha males are independent. They shouldn't be listening to anybody. Why are you listening to somebody who's telling you how to be somebody? If you're somebody, you should just be somebody by yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just so, it's so backwards thinking if you think about it, you know? Because people always define alpha males as like these quiet, independent people, and they just stay in their own lane. But yet, these self-proclaimed alpha males are telling guys to follow their lane, basically, to be this way, to be like them. Like, does that not sound backwards to you guys? I'm sorry, but I don't know. I guess some people do like to be, you know, berated, beat down on by other guys, I guess. I don't know. Not for me personally. I just figure things out as I live, you know. But you know, if I seen somebody like that, we would just laugh at them, honestly, though. I've only met one person ever. No, yeah, just one person ever who was trying to follow like the alpha male code. And I feel bad because I remember like it was yesterday too. This was recent actually. This was 2024. It was last year. Like, this is one of the reasons why I made a live stream talking about it the other time. It was last year. There was this young guy. He was 19 years old. And he was basically going around talking about like how he's like the alpha male and whatnot. And this guy, I don't want to be mean to this kid here. He's only 19. He's still kind of young. He is the biggest loser I've ever seen in my life. Standing quiet in a stiff position, alone, thinking you're some cool badass is like the saddest shit ever, honestly. Because, here's the thing. You're standing alone. You're in a cool standing position. But at the same time, no one knows who you are. You're a complete stranger. You just look like a loner. You get what I'm saying? Like, you don't know you don't know anything about them. And really, like, what ended up happening, this is kind of sad, actually. I'll never forget it, too. Like, this guy is as sad as can be. And what ended up happening was that, like, it was time for rehearsals, and this guy thinks he's too cool for us. So all the ladies basically just went up to him, and they basically was trying to, like, poke fun at him, you know, since he thinks he's, like, this alpha male and whatnot. And basically all the ladies got him to come up to rehearse. And the moment he got up to rehearse, like, all the ladies surrounded him, and they basically just started, like, picking on him. Like, literally talking shit about him. Like, how dumb he looks, you know? And this kid started crying. And I just felt bad. Like, you have to understand. Like, people think, like, having aura, I guess is what the people say nowadays. Having aura and being alone is two different things. And if you try to combine them together, people need to know who you are. Because you're just going to look like some lonely person, you know? It's really just kind of sad, honestly. Being alpha is not really the way to go at it. Just saying. I feel like men nowadays are just way too delusional for their own sake. It's just... just be yourself. But just don't be weird at the same time, you know? Be yourself, but don't be too weird. It's always worked for me. Still does, actually, you know? It's just, man, it's just pure sadness. Just pure sadness on what males have become. But that's just my advice for you guys, though. Just be yourself, don't be weird, and just figure it out as you go along. And trust me, It will be hard, and you will get turned down. You need to learn. I'm going to talk about this right now. For those people who have never dated, which I think somebody here was talking about it earlier, I feel like you have to learn that sometimes no is just no. Just move on. Some people take no too personally, or some people just can't take no for an answer. Like, trust me, not all of my dates or not all the people I ever asked out said yes. And that's fine. Like, literally. Sometimes they're just not interested. Just accept it. I still do go on dates too, so it's not like it's the end of the world. And I'm just speaking this out now because, like, I've seen some people who get too hung up to where, like, they went through, like, a few rejections and they're like, I'm never gonna ask out anybody ever again. Like, dude, it's not that big of a deal. Just please, get up and just keep moving forward. You'll find somebody. There will be a lot of no's, but somebody will say yes. And don't be desperate. And trust me, I think, here's the thing. I find that, I'm not even trying to be mean to some of these guys, but I think one of the strangest types of guys I've ever met are the guys who are basically, like, trying to run back for somebody. Like, run back to the girl and trying to win them back. Here's my advice, and here's something I will speak from experience. If a girl has moved on, do not, or if she found somebody, do not try to go and win her back. Like, literally just learn to let go. Because you will be seen as desperate, weird, and corny if you try to do that. The first woman I ever loved, she chose somebody else and not me, alright? And I still remember too, I felt some type of way. And man, trying to win her back, now I look back on it, I was very cringe. But then again, I was a very young teenager then. So I speak that from experience now. So usually, when there's a breakup, I just wish, the person the best. And I really just try to move on, just slowly find somebody else. Don't be like Montoya and try to go in like, oh man, don't try to run back and win them over. Because if it didn't work, it just didn't work, Sometimes you just need to learn to let go. But I'm hoping maybe I'll be able to date again, but who knows? It's just one step at a time. There is another party coming up, I think either this month or next month that I'll be going to. I'm hoping that maybe I can find somebody there. Because Tinder is not helping out, by the way. I'm using Tinder, but I'm not gonna lie, it's not... I don't know, I just can't find a connection on Tinder. Maybe I should give it some more time, though. One step at a time. It's kind of funny because, like, I go to anime conventions hoping that, like, I can find a person that I can be with. But there's this, I don't know. This is the strangest thing to say. I would like to have a wife that does like anime as well. But at the same time, though, like, it's kind of strange because I've dated, look, I've had past relationships with anime fans as well. But it just doesn't work all the time. Strange. It feels more like having a friend than having an actual girlfriend. And when you do try to make it like an official thing, it's more like they kind of back out a little. But things happen, I feel like most people on Tinder just want to hook up. That is the reason why I don't use Tinder like that. Because it's infuriating, honestly. Because, like, Tinder has two problems. One is that people set their expectations way too high. And two, another big problem about Tinder is that, like, a lot of people don't seek long-term relationships. And even though they do state that in their bios, like they're like what they're looking for in a relationship, they're not truly committed, So that's why Tinder so far for me has been infuriating. I don't hate Tinder because it has worked. It worked for my brother somehow, but not for me. But I'm still looking at everybody. I'm still looking. I don't plan on giving up just yet. Like I stated, I know what I want in a relationship, but at the same time, like I need to be I need to be self-aware and self-conscious of the partner I'm choosing. Because like I don't want to like here's the thing. When you're dating, yes, I do want to get to know my partner better. I will admit that. But I also do want what's best for my partner too. Like I don't want it to be just everything benefits me, you know? Like I want my I want like our lives to thrive perfectly together. Well, not perfectly because there's no such thing as a perfect relationship, but like basically I'm self-aware. Like I know that there's going to be things that we got to sort out and we need to find what's best for one another. Like I don't want to get too lost into a relationship to where it becomes too emotionally like bonded, you know? Because it can become very emotionally abusive or emotionally unstable. Serious girls will talk to you depending on your profile picture on Tinder, Kumo. Yeah, I know, Anna. I changed my profile picture, but hold up. Let me show you guys my my current Tinder picture. Hold up. I'll show you some of my pictures on Tinder, but I need to show you guys. Hold up. Maybe later. Here's my... Oh, sorry. Here's my current picture on Tinder right now. So, Akaido miles low here. Still looking... See, here's me and my Miku. And then the same as always, the workout picture too. So, I post a bit of everything, honestly, because I don't want to just show good-looking pictures. So I do want to show you a bit of like my anime love as well, because like I'm not gonna lie, anime is a part of me. I'm not even going to deny it at this point, you know. But I do want people to understand that like the different aspects of me. So I show one of me being dressed regularly, another one of me, my workout and my workout life, and then another one of my anime love, you know, with me and the Mikus. Because like, I want my Tinder to be more transparent than others. So like, that way it doesn't seem like I'm trying to hide stuff. Because the thing about Tinder is that people rely too much on the profile pictures to be like the driving force of trying to find that connection. But for me personally, my name here, Sawakado Miles Low here, I personally like to be as transparent as possible. I still haven't found a Tinder match. Well, I have gotten a few likes on it, but the few likes I've gotten are usually people who are very, let's just say they're looking for intimacy and not commitment, or they're just looking for short-term relationships, you know, because they're just trying to get into the dating game, you know. So I've slowed down on using Tinder, but I'm praying though. What's your Tinder bio? Hold up. Let me actually look at my Tinder bio again. Hold up. Okay. Okay, hold up. I don't want to show you where I live. That's too dangerous. Okay. All right. Here's my bio. About me. I like anime music, VTubers. I also have a love for exotic animals. I'm not picking on looks, as I prefer character over looks. That's as simple as I put it. Literally. I like anime music, VTubers, and I also have a love for exotic animals. I'm not picky on looks as I prefer character over looks. And I still do stand by that. And that's basically what it says on my bio. And then, you know, there's some other stuff, but I can't show too much on my Tinder bio because I don't want to dox. I'm trying not to dox myself here on my location here. But yeah, it's not great, but it's not terrible either so far. And there are people who's gonna be looking at my Tinder, be like, "Hey, let's go on a date. Let's go on a date, Kumo Sensei." I was like, someday though, someday, maybe. Like I stated though, I do give everybody a chance when it comes to dating, because I just don't know who my partner will be. So like, if I see somebody who's very emo looking, and they want to give me a chance, I'll take them out on a date for sure. Or if they're super, you know, not so great looking, I'll still take them out on a date. Because I'm just not sure, you know. Maybe say I want a serious relationship. That's also in my bio too, Anna. Thankfully. So if you're wondering, Anna, that is also part of my bios. Is that is that one, I'm monogamous, and two, I'm looking for a committed relationship. So because of that, like, you know, still though, not many likes or not much communication on my stuff so far. But I'm trying though. I am very much trying. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm hoping I can find somebody though, but I do give everybody a chance. So if you're self-conscious about your look or your body weight or something, I don't really care, because I just need to meet you in person, you know? I just need to know who you are as a person for me to like you or get to know you better. For example, if you're disabled, that's fine with me. I give you a chance as well. Or if you don't have a finger, or if you don't have an arm or something, I don't care as well. I'll still give you a chance. Everybody gets a chance with me. It's not that I'm easy to get. It's just because I need to give everybody a chance to know, you know? So this is why, like, a lot of my like Tinder hookups, that's not even the right word. A lot of my Tinder dates that I've been on, a lot of them, or the ones that I do choose to go on, a lot of them are very much just me getting to know the person, and then just saying we should be friends, or, you know, saying that like, it's nice to meet you, but I think it's better off if we stay away as is, just to be nice and be respectful. But yeah, it's still a searching right now, a searching situation that I'm in, and I'm very, very tired in terms of finding a relationship. Like, I'm ready for a relationship, but finding the person is not that easy. But I give everybody a chance though, and I'm just super excited, because I'm super tired, but also super excited because I don't know who or what or when my partner will be. But it'll find its time though, I hope. I hope. So like, even so I even stated this before too on the channel, even on my past live streams. If you want to give me a chance, or if you want a shot, I give everybody a chance. You just had to make it worth my time. So I don't really turn down anyone. Now, I'm not going to be traveling all over the world for a date. I think that's too much then. I'm not that desperate. My lord. Just saying. But if you're not too far away, maybe, yeah. But if you are somebody who's far away, I prefer we're just... I think the right... Sorry. I think the right way to put it is that if you're somebody who wants to do long distance relationships, we're going to need to start off as friends. Because that's basically the better way to approach it. But that's my current life as of now, everybody. My parents wants me to get married. Everybody wants me to find a better job. I'm trying to move out. Trying to sell out my business. And man, I really don't know what to do. Whether... I don't know. I'm just super confused with my life right now. There's just a lot going on. But I am 24 years old now. And I do need to start finding somebody if I can. I'm not in a rush, but anybody will be great. Or the right person will be great. Today is National Sloppy Joe Day. That's the funny thing, John. I know that already. Because I live in the South. So here in the United States where I currently reside and currently live in, like the South here, we have Sloppy Joe. So like I know exactly what you're talking about in terms of National Sloppy Joe Day. It's funny to say that, honestly. It's kind of like a tongue twister sometimes. But yeah, though, everybody, it's funny because people do think I live in Japan. It seems like you're going through a lot. It's okay to feel lost, but I'm sure you'll be fine. I'll be fine for the most part. But I feel kind of worried that, like, I don't know. It's not the feeling of losing things, but it's the feeling of not finding the things I need to get, or finding the things I want to have. Like, for example, I want to find a new place. But finding a new place is very difficult because everything is super expensive in terms of living cost and living expenses. Another example is trying to get into voice acting, but there's just so much work that needs to be put in that I don't have time because my other jobs are taking up that time. Or trying to find a relationship is not easy for me because, you know, currently I can't find the partner that I think will fit me. You know, I get very worried, which makes my head spin around a lot. But I also am the type of person that does keep on going, because if I just stand still, nothing will change, you know. So I'm still continuing on with life. And I guess I'll just end it there for today for a live stream, everybody. I'm just like I'm ready for that next chapter in my life, but finding the people, the resources, and the goals to, like, the steps to get to those goals that I want it's just not easy, you know. But as always, everybody, without further ado, thanks for watching. And yeah, this live stream is just more so of me and my life and catching up with everyone. And I will see you guys again on Saturday, I believe. I will be live on Saturday, without a doubt. So, without further ado, everyone, thanks for watching. I'll see everybody on Saturday for another live stream. And with that, that's really about it. See you. Adios. No. Adios. I said adios. Sayonara.